everything is motivated by wanting to take care of your children and carve a path for them.
Nicole Kidman, one of Hollywood's most celebrated actresses, is rarely seen in tears, especially not in public. But when her daughter underwent an unexpected transformation, it was a moment that broke Kidman's composed facade. This wasn't a typical family milestone. It was a shocking change that left Kidman struggling to contain her emotions. As the world watched, Kidman was faced with something far more significant than her career achievements or public appearances. In a moment of profound vulnerability, she broke down, leaving fans and family alike in shock. What triggered this emotional outpouring? It wasn't a loss or a tragedy. It was a transformation so unexpected that it took Kidman completely by surprise. Fans who have followed Kidman's journey as both a mother and a celebrity were stunned by the depth of her reaction. For someone who had always maintained a sense of control, this was a raw, unguarded moment that showed a side of Kidman few had ever seen before. What was so powerful about this change that brought Kidman to tears? The answer lies in the transformation that her daughter experienced. Something so profound, it touched Kidman in ways words couldn't express. As Kidman struggled to process the whirlwind of emotions, the press quickly caught on, turning the moment into a media sensation. Some speculated that it had to do with a personal revelation, while others wondered if it was linked to Kidman's protective nature as a mother. But as more details came to light, it became clear that this was more than just an emotional reaction. It was a life-altering moment that both Kidman and her daughter would never forget. The moment of transformation had not only shifted Kidman's view of her daughter, but also redefined the bond they shared. The unexpected transformation. Nicole Kidman's reaction was just the beginning. What left her in tears was the shocking and unexpected transformation of her daughter, which had seemingly come out of nowhere. To many, it was a transformation that seemed both sudden and inexplicable. But to Kidman, it was a change that came with a mix of excitement, fear, and awe. What was it that happened to her daughter that sparked such an emotional reaction? It all started when Kidman's daughter, once a familiar presence in the public eye, suddenly became someone completely different. Whether it was a shift in her personal style, an unexpected career change, or a revelation in her personal life, the transformation took both Kidman and her family by surprise. Kidman had always been the supportive, guiding mother, but this change marked a moment where her daughter had taken control of her own destiny, leaving Kidman to navigate the feelings of letting go. Fans speculated endlessly about the specifics of this transformation. Was it a physical change, such as a dramatic new look? Or was it something deeper, a new outlook on life, a new career path, or an unexpected relationship? What made this transformation so jarring for Kidman was not just the change itself, but the fact that it signified the end of one chapter and the beginning of another for her daughter. For Kidman, this was more than just a passing phase. It was the start of something much bigger, something that would change the way she saw her daughter forever. As the media delved deeper into the details of this transformation, the full impact of what had happened started to unfold. It was not just a superficial change. It was a shift in identity, a moment of self-discovery, and a symbol of her daughter stepping into adulthood in a way that left Kidman struggling to keep up. The depth of this transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional and psychological, forcing Kidman to confront the reality that her daughter was no longer the little girl she had once known. The change signaled a time of growth, independence, and maturity, all of which were overwhelming for a mother to witness. Nicole Kidman's struggle to let go. As the transformation unfolded, Nicole Kidman found herself at a crossroads, facing the difficult emotional journey of letting go. While every mother experiences moments of change in their child's life, Kidman's experience was uniquely intense. This transformation, which caught her by surprise, was something that challenged her understanding of motherhood. Kidman, who had always been an incredibly involved and protective mother, suddenly found herself having to face the reality that her daughter was carving out a new path, one that was no longer tied to her own vision. The hardest part of this moment wasn't just witnessing the change. It was accepting that her daughter's evolution meant that Kidman's role as a protector and guide would no longer be the defining factor in their relationship. For years, Kidman had been a constant figure in her daughter's life, watching over her every decision, providing guidance, and offering support. But with this new phase of transformation came a deeper understanding that her daughter was now making her own choices, forging her own path, and embracing her independence in ways Kidman could not control. Rogan, reflecting on the emotional weight of this moment, noted that Kidman's tears were a natural reaction to a mother's innate desire to hold on to her child, to protect them from the uncertainties of life. The moment when a child grows into an adult and starts to define themselves outside of their parents' influence is one of the hardest moments for any parent. For Kidman, the emotional weight was compounded by the sheer intensity of the transformation, which felt like a sudden shift, leaving her struggling to adjust. As Kidman processed the changes in her daughter's life, she found herself reflecting on her own journey as a mother. She had always strived to be a strong, supportive figure for her children, but this transformation represented a moment where her role had to evolve. It wasn't just about caring for her daughter's needs. It was about respecting her autonomy and letting her navigate her own world. The reality of this shift was difficult for Kidman to accept, but she knew that in order to support her daughter in the way she needed, she would have to let go of the protective role she had cherished for so long. Nicole Kidman's vulnerable moment. Nicole Kidman has long been known for her composed and graceful public image. But when she broke down in tears over her daughter's unexpected transformation, the world saw a different side of the actress. Kidman's reaction wasn't just an expression of surprise. It was a raw, emotional response to the realization that her daughter was growing up in ways she hadn't anticipated. Kidman had always been a mother who prided herself on being in control, but this moment showed a more vulnerable, human side that few had ever seen before. For Kidman, this moment of vulnerability was one that she wasn't prepared for. As an actress, she had learned to maintain her composure in the most stressful situations, but being a mother was different. This moment wasn't about acting. It was about real emotion, real love, and the deep connection she felt with her daughter. Kidman's tears symbolized the overwhelming sense of pride, fear, and love that came with watching her child transform in ways that were beyond her control. Rogen's take on Kidman's vulnerability was powerful, as he pointed out that mothers often face the difficult task of navigating their emotions as their children grow. The challenge isn't just about the child's transformation. It's about how the mother's role shifts over time. Kidman's tears were a reflection of that struggle. She was no longer just a caretaker. She was learning to become a supporter and confidant, someone who had to let her daughter make her own choices and mistakes. The power of change. The unexpected transformation of Nicole Kidman's daughter wasn't just a personal revelation. It sent shockwaves through the family and beyond. Kidman's daughter had always been known for one persona, but this drastic shift left everyone, including those closest to her, stunned. What caused this change? Was it a sudden shift in her career path, a bold move in her personal life, or something more internal? Whatever the catalyst, the transformation wasn't just about a new look. It symbolized something deeper, something that transcended appearances. What made this moment even more surprising was that no one, including Kidman, saw it coming. For a long time, Kidman had supported her daughter, watched her grow, and celebrated her milestones. But this transformation marked a moment when her daughter stepped out into the world with an entirely new sense of self. Kidman, typically the confident, supportive mother, was left in awe. This was no ordinary life stage. This was a moment of profound change that marked the beginning of a new chapter. Kidman had always been there for her daughter, but this change signified a turning point. Her daughter was no longer the little girl she once knew, but a young adult forging her own path. For many fans, seeing Kidman react with such raw emotion made the transformation feel even more significant. It wasn't just about a daughter's physical or emotional growth. It was about the shift in their dynamic. Kidman wasn't just watching her daughter grow up. She was watching her daughter become someone entirely new. This was a realization that most mothers go through as their children grow older, but Kidman's experience was amplified by the public nature of her life. Kidman's emotions, which were so deeply personal, were now shared with the world, making the transformation that much more poignant. Rogen pointed out that for a mother, the moment when a child begins to carve their own identity is often filled with a complex mix of emotions. For Kidman, her daughter's transformation was more than just an emotional experience. It was a time of reflection. She had to come to terms with the fact that her daughter was no longer the child who needed constant care and guidance. Instead, She was becoming an independent, self-assured individual, someone who would soon navigate life on her own. The joy and pride Kidman felt for her daughter were laced with a natural fear of what this change meant for their future relationship. The shocking revelation. As the shock of the transformation began to settle, Kidman's daughter revealed the catalyst behind the change. A revelation that left Kidman and the public stunned. The transformation wasn't random, it was something deeply personal, something that had been brewing for some time. In an exclusive interview, Kidman's daughter explained the underlying reasons for her change, offering insight into her thought process and the emotional journey that had led her to this point. The revelation was not just a shock to Kidman, but to everyone who had followed her daughter's life closely. The news was a revelation that put everything into perspective. It wasn't just about a new style or a change in appearance. It was about a profound personal awakening. Kidman's daughter spoke openly about the internal struggles she had faced, the doubts that had shaped her decisions, and the moment she decided to take control of her life in a way that was both empowering and liberating. The transformation was the result of years of reflection, personal growth, and the desire to step into the person she truly wanted to be. For Kidman, this moment of revelation was both heartbreaking and heartwarming. On one hand, it meant that her daughter was no longer the little girl who relied on her for everything. On the other, it showed that her daughter had come into her own, making decisions that were right for her. Kidman, in a deeply emotional moment, realized that this change wasn't something to be feared, it was something to be celebrated. Her daughter's new path was a sign of her strength and independence. It wasn't a rejection of Kidman's love or guidance. It was a step toward finding her own voice and place in the world. What made this moment even more intense was the emotional complexity behind it. Kidman's daughter didn't just change for the sake of change. She was making a statement, one that represented a desire to be seen and heard in a new light. She wanted to reclaim her narrative, separate from the identity that had been placed on her by others. This moment of self-discovery wasn't just for her. It was a message to everyone who had followed her journey. And for Kidman, this message was not just about pride. It was about recognizing her daughter's strength and resilience in a way that made her even more proud. Shifting from protector to advocate, Nicole Kidman had spent years being a protector for her children, guiding them through every challenge with the steady hand of a mother who was always in control. But as her daughter's transformation unfolded, Kidman was faced with an entirely new role, one where she had to shift from being a constant protector to being a supportive advocate. This shift was not an easy one. For Kidman, it meant relinquishing control and trusting her daughter to make decisions that might not always align with her own vision for her life. The change was subtle at first, but as the transformation continued, Kidman realized that she could no longer play the role of the overprotective mother. Instead, she had to become a more passive participant in her daughter's life, offering support but not direction. This shift wasn't just difficult for Kidman, it was emotionally taxing. She had always been the guiding force in her daughter's life, but now, her daughter was taking the reins. This forced Kidman to reassess her role in her child's world. Rogan, observing Kidman's experience, pointed out that the transition from protector to advocate is one of the most challenging parts of motherhood. It's about recognizing that children grow up and make their own choices. Choices that may not always reflect the values or ideals that parents hold dear. For Kidman, this shift represented a painful yet necessary evolution of their relationship. She had to let go of the motherly instinct to control and, instead, embrace a role that focused on unconditional support and respect for her daughter's autonomy. Despite the emotional difficulties of this change, Kidman's response was one of growth and maturity. She didn't resist her daughter's independence, she embraced it. She realized that her daughter's transformation wasn't about rejecting her as a mother. It was about embracing her own identity and stepping into a new version of herself. This realization marked a turning point in Kidman's understanding of motherhood. It wasn't about holding on, it was about letting go and giving her daughter the space to become who she was always meant to be. Was it pride, fear, or both? As Nicole Kidman navigated her daughter's unexpected transformation, her emotions became a tangled mix of pride, fear, and uncertainty. At first glance, Kidman's reaction seemed to be one of overwhelming pride. Her daughter had taken control of her life and embraced a new, bold identity. Yet, beneath the surface, there was a palpable sense of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what this transformation meant for their relationship, and fear of the future. Kidman's tears weren't just about the joy of watching her daughter evolve. They were about grappling with the complex emotions that come with seeing your child change in ways you didn't expect. The pride Kidman felt was undeniable. As a mother, seeing her daughter step into her own power was a source of immense satisfaction. Kidman had always encouraged her children to follow their own path, to be true to themselves, and to embrace their individuality. And yet, as she watched her daughter undergo this transformation, Kidman couldn't shake the fear of what it meant for their relationship. Would this change create a distance between them? Would her daughter's newfound independence affect their bond in ways that Kidman wasn't ready for? Rogan, reflecting on Kidman's emotional response, pointed out that the complexities of motherhood often go beyond just joy or pride. The journey of watching your child grow is filled with moments of both celebration and sorrow. For Kidman, this transformation was a reminder that parenting is about more than just guiding your child. It's about learning to let them go, even when it's the hardest thing to do. The fear Kidman felt wasn't just about the change itself. It was about understanding that this transformation marked a shift in their relationship. Her daughter was no longer a child in need of constant guidance. She was an adult with the autonomy to make her own choices. Despite the emotional challenges, Kidman's response was also one of growth. She acknowledged that her fears were natural, but they were also a sign that she had to trust her daughter's judgment. This was a moment of change not just for her daughter, but for Kidman herself. She had to accept that as her daughter's independence grew, so too would her own evolution as a mother. This moment of transformation, while overwhelming, was ultimately an opportunity for both of them to grow, individually and together. What this transformation means for her family. As the dust settled from the emotional whirlwind caused by her daughter's transformation, Nicole Kidman began to reflect on what this moment meant not just for her daughter, but for their entire family. The transformation wasn't an isolated event. It marked the beginning of a new era for their family dynamic. Kidman recognized that this was a turning point in her own relationship with her daughter, and that it would have lasting implications for how they interacted moving forward. But what did this transformation really mean for their family as a whole? For Kidman, this change forced her to confront the evolving nature of family life. Families, she realized, don't stay static. They grow, change, and shift over time. The way she interacted with her daughter had to evolve as well. Kidman's daughter had taken a bold step toward independence, and it was clear that Kidman had to respect and nurture this change, even if it meant letting go of some of her old expectations. This transformation wasn't just about a daughter becoming more independent. It was about a family adapting to a new reality, one in which the roles were shifting and the future was uncertain. As Kidman thought about her own role in this transformation, she realized that it was an opportunity for her to grow as well. She could no longer rely on the old ways of parenting that had served her so well in the past. The dynamic between mother and daughter had changed, and it was now up to Kidman to adapt to this new phase. The question was, how could she continue to support her daughter while also giving her the space she needed to grow? Kidman knew that the key was balance, allowing her daughter to have the freedom to explore her new identity, while still being a loving, supportive presence in her life. Kidman's reflection also extended to the rest of her family. As her daughter transformed, it became clear that this change would ripple out to other relationships within their family unit. How would Kidman's other children react to the shift in the family dynamic? Would they too go through their own transformations, creating even more change for Kidman to navigate? The thought of these changes was both exciting and daunting, but Kidman knew that it was part of the natural evolution of family life. Families grow, and with that growth comes new challenges and new opportunities for connection. Learning to let go as a mother. Nicole Kidman's journey through her daughter's transformation was not just an emotional roller coaster. It was a profound learning experience for Kidman herself. As a mother, Kidman had always been fiercely protective of her children, but this moment forced her to confront something she had never fully realized before: the importance of letting go. Letting go of control. Letting go of the idea that she could always shield her children from the world's challenges, and letting go of the image of the mother-daughter relationship she had always known. This transformation marked a pivotal moment in Kidman's emotional growth as a parent. Rogan, reflecting on Kidman's emotional journey, pointed out that this moment of letting go is something every parent eventually faces. It's the realization that children, no matter how much you protect them, will eventually step into their own lives and make their own decisions. For Kidman, the transformation of her daughter wasn't just about change. It was a lesson in accepting that her role as a mother was shifting. It was a humbling realization, one that would challenge her as a parent, but also help her grow emotionally. Nicole Kidman's emotional journey through her daughter's unexpected transformation was a reminder of the complexities of motherhood and the power of letting go. What began as a moment of shock and fear evolved into an empowering experience that reshaped their relationship and their futures. What do you think of Kidman's reaction to her daughter's transformation? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the lives of your favorite celebrities.